Left the God versus Ranjay. This is for the LCQ championship. The winner of this game will receive, I believe, $45,000 in total, maybe 50. I'm trying to remember the exact earnings off the top of my head here. But basically, this game is a win and get in game for Madden Bowl. Their whole season comes down to this. We're going to see, kind of how this goes. Clef the God comes into this game. Obviously, the more seasoned player, the bigger veteran, already has a belt last year, got his first belt last year in the Zero Chill event, and honestly played really good in Madden Bowl last year, and kind of got a unfortunate loss to TJ that I think he should have won that game. Clef's one of the best switch stick players that I've seen in Madden over the last couple of years. And then you have Ron J on the other side. Now, Ron J is somebody that we really haven't seen a ton of, but this year has kind of popped up as an up and coming player. And he took out some dogs to get here. He took out Wesley in the quarterfinal of this event. He's had a couple of winning get in games over the course of the year. Did real quickly here, want to back up the tape and just kind of highlight the playbook that he is in. He is in the Jaguars offense and the Jaguars defense. And then Clef is going to be, I believe, I don't know what he's in on offense, but I think he's in Benkert, and then he is in probably Jags on defense as well. Clef is going to be running dollar. And so you're going to see Clef run a loop based defense here, send four often. And then he's got a ton of AP on these D linemen here. Probably edge threat and double or nothing, or instant rebate double or nothing, but definitely has double or nothing here. And then it looks like we have some KOs at the top. Doesn't look like we have anything that crazy on the corners. So Clef's entire defensive philosophy is going to basically be summed up in switch stick. He wants to try to keep the lid on, not let you get one play touchdowns, and then make you work up and down the field with him trying to switch stick you every single play. What's really interesting about this matchup is Ron J comes into this game with as a player who, what makes Ron J good is really his post snap reads. He's able to process really quickly. I think he's 18 in this event, and has done really just impressed this entire event, as well as really this entire season. And so here he is at the very end playing against one of the most biggest veterans in the esport, and we'll see what he's able to do. But again, he's in Jags playbook, and we'll start out here. He's going to go to this motion play, and this is out of the wild trail close. I think it's just the motion inside zone, and able to get out of there with Forte, get a couple good yards. And he's going to come out of mesh spot every play. As you saw right there, his pass protection is going to be on base. Notice that Clef is kind of shifting the linebackers. He's not running the SS zone version. And the other thing about Ron J is he's going to pass the ball the majority of the time. Both of these guys are going to pass the ball the majority of the time. So you're not going to have a ton of off meta here. Both of these guys pretty much are in meta, but this combo right here was one of Ron J's top combos. But this play right here highlights something that's going on in this game right now that I think you want to be aware of. So if we just take a look here right at this snap, you're going to see a combination here. Let me see if it shows it one more time. Yes. So this is kind of interesting. So this was something that he ran a lot of. It's a flat. You have like a tight end slant. You have this running back route. And I believe this is the play. I'm trying to remember. This is actually in Jaguars playbook. So I want to say it's drive Y corner. The main reason he's calling that play is for this running back route right here. That's the only route he's going to keep. And it's a speed in. It does a really good job of beating man and zone. And then what I would assume he's going to do is he's probably going to flat this guy right here. So he creates a mesh between these two guys. And effectively, the only way to stop this is to have shaded down hooks. And then basically, the thing that could come open is this slant. So anyway, we see here, and it looks like he actually uses a curl up here, a stemmed up curl. But as you see, super low hooks from Clef. And pretty good overall defense, and Ron J able to hit the in route over the middle of the field. Now, one thing I also wanted to highlight here is if you watch this play in real time, I want you to watch how fast the pressure comes in for Clef, and it's going to tell us something about the defense here. So as you see, he gets quickly shedded, and the pressure's collapsing. Like if he throws out a second late, that's probably a throw out a sack. The reason being is because Ron J has all of his AP on his quarterback. His tackles do not have pass protector, secure protector, whatever it may be. So they're going to get shedded a lot. And the other element of this is because Ron J passes so much, Clef can pass commit a lot. That was going to give him even better sheds. So, kind of something to monitor as this game goes on. As you see there, super, super fast sheds, but does a nice job. And I mean, other thing, if you watch Ron J here, take a look at this combo, this emotion HB choice combination. Really, really good play here. Ron J loves little running back ends. Loves these running back ends underneath. Feels like they just get in a good position. He's got a stemmed up curl. He's got the seam, and then he's got the stem down post, and he's got a corner here that he can work. The biggest thing that I was going to highlight about Ron J is I want you to watch this play in real time and watch how fast, watch how like on time he throws the ball. This was a lesson to me as I was watching him play throughout the event, throughout the tournament. Ron J is going to throw things on the cut, on time, more so than what I've seen other players do in this event. So if you watch here, he's just going to go boom right on time. Clef definitely was switching it, right, but he was a step behind. And this kind of goes to this, kind of theory that I've been thinking about switch stick in general, which is what if you just had elite timing with your passing? How would that work out? But we'll see kind of how this goes on right there. Clef got a loop to come in pretty clean there. And, you're not going to get that pressure all the time, but you're going to get it sometimes, right? And he's doing, the other thing is he's interesting is like people now at the loop, they don't even necessarily move this guy all the way over the time. Sometimes they'll just put him right here. Like they kind of play around with the placement a little bit more than what we see. But you see, there's the sheds again. And those sheds are they're killing Ron J. And it kind of goes into this discussion about like what do you do? Do you optimize? How do you optimize your teams? Clef's putting all of his abilities on more than likely his defensive ends and then also his safeties. So gets him on a fourth down here. And that's basically like this is basically Clef's defensive philosophy, right? I'm going to keep the lid on. I'm going to try to make you work. I'm going to switch stick you a lot. And then if you drive up and down the field, you're going to have to actually drive up and down the field on me. And then also, he's got a good chance for red zone stops. So here goes to off trail close, goes to a standard combo, and Clef's able to take it away. So this was a pretty obvious, this formation, right? That you're probably going to get this running back streak. And as you see here, he's got this little, I think this is a slot fade and a speed out. And you just don't quite hit, maybe a corner there, but you got this kind of spaced out, honestly pretty unfortunate. And this throw right here 100% though. It's 100% because of these D-line sheds he's been facing. Ironically, if he takes a little bit more time here, he might be able to hit this in route, but that's the beauty of edge threads or double or nothings and the pressure that you can get from dollar. Even though you're not necessarily getting a blitz, you're getting pretty good opportunity to consistently shed. And then therein lies, kind of the challenge. So Clef gets stopped. Now, real quick, wanted to highlight this is Ron J's defense. Honestly, I was really interested in his defense. I thought his defense played really well for him throughout the event, throughout the live event, this LCQ event. He's in double mug, and we've really kind of seen a lot of people just essentially settle into dollar as the predominant defense, but double mug definitely still has some use. And essentially what he's going to do is he's going to overload this running back side. So the double mug normally has this linebacker right here. Ron J is going to move him over the center. So you always have this threat of pressure right here. And then if you run like a quick flat, more than likely you're going to get a hard flat. And then from there, this guy right here is kind of the key. Is he manning up? Is he deep halving? Is he inside? What's he doing with that guy? So anyway, this is kind of the main chess match here. You can typically drop these guys out, and then you could potentially send two as well and drop this guy out. So we'll just see kind of how this goes. But this is one of the first times we've seen double mug, make it this far in an event, I would say. We saw it earlier in the year, but then it kind of went away, and dollar kind of became the clear cut and zero chill, and then now we're kind of seeing this come back. So anyway, Clef's going to run good quality combos, being bunch X nasty. I'll talk a little bit about the combos, but it's pretty standard. And then you see here, this was happening for Ron J a lot. I got a lot of swats, got a lot of bat downs right here. Clef is going to abuse this tight end drag. I will say, by the way, it's not necessarily a bad read, okay? It's just kind of unfortunate this guy jumps up. But if he waits just a little bit longer, there's a ocean to throw this ball in and then cut up. So I mean, for Clef, he's also going to play on that timing. A lot of the best players in the world do. And so when you see that open space, you just get rid of the ball quick. But unfortunately for him there, didn't work out. Going to go to the same combo, spacing switch. Now puts a little flat on there, doesn't block the running back. And you see this right here. So this throw, real interesting. So Ron J, if he just dives down on this, because he switches it pretty well, he's got it. Clef is kind of, I don't know, anticipating that Ron J is going to switch down and then go back up to kind of try to bait, which is an interesting thing. And so, I mean, you just kind of see, which is interesting too, is that in one of his other games, he actually threw this over the top for a touchdown when essentially almost instantly after the guy switched on. So anyway, I mean, maybe he just, maybe he just thought had a little more space. But like I said, if Ron J drives on this route, he's probably got an interception. So anyway, but doesn't do it, and Clef gets the job done and gets upfield for easy yardage. Guys, if you're enjoying this film room, I just want to encourage you, if you're looking to take your Madden game to the next level, join our school community today for just $10. You can get access to everything, offensive, defensive ebooks, everything you need to win more games. So if you want to sign up, it's only $10. Link is in the description below, and we've been dropping a ton of stuff over there lately. Wanted to cover this play real quick here. You're going to get this kind of standard. Now, I wanted to also highlight, a lot of these bunch nasty guys, they do this right here. When you watch this combo that he's going to run. So he's got a slot fade. He's got a slot fade. He's got a streak. He's got a corner. And then he blocks his running back. Now, why do that? I'm not 100% sure why he does this slot fade here. Could it be that he could pass lead this against man? Maybe. Could it be that if he's hard flatting and he's cover twoing, this could be an open read? It just felt like that's normally a match read, and you don't get a lot of match out of double mug. So was just interested at that one. And then over here on the left side, you see here, double mug gets pressure. He has to throw the ball away. He has absolutely nothing to throw. I mean, he might be able to throw the streak for a touchdown, but he's getting pressured. He can't get the ball out quick enough. So and the reason I wanted to highlight this is a block running back. Clef, obviously, and this is something you got to kind of come into these breakdowns with, is kind of the presupposition that these are the best players in the world. So they're going to know certain things. They're going to know protections for all the meta blitzes. They're going to know counters and things like that. So I would assume, right, Clef has the pass pro for this double mug defense. But as you see right here, he gets an insta shed right up the A gap. And honestly, it was almost more of a disengage. But anyway, this guy gets that pressure there. Block is here, but this guy I don't know what he did. He did not get the job done. And so, you're getting the pressure, and then you're backpedaling, and then you're intentional grounding. So again, I didn't necessarily love that play call though. Like I'm a big believer in your first drive won't call those high percentage plays, and I just felt like it was he was trying to catch him in something with that slot fade there. And then he goes immediately back to one of his high leverage combos, which is kind of similar to Ron J. I want to just highlight this. This was something that I was like, oh, I didn't realize that this was such a popular play, but this was ran a lot in this event. It was this running back speed in with these two flats, and then you have the drag, so you're creating the mesh between the tight end and the running back, and then you would get this kind of deep in route. I was surprised to see this called so much this event, but anyway, you're going to see flat, and then it's just hard to defend those drags going underneath. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 12. This is a big down here. Ronjay's been playing pretty good defense so far. We're going to get X cross, pretty standard setup here with the stemmed up curl. And Clef's going to throw that and almost throw an interception. So, kind of same thing here. I mean, like, if you take a look at this real quick, you're going to get probably pressured here. You're sending 5 out, so you have to be aware of that. Now, he can untarget. Clef could untarget this guy. This would then block this. But in general, he does a stemmed up curl, and then he does a slot fade instead of a streak, and then he has a return route. This is a very standard thing. The only difference is sometimes people just put that on a streak. But anyway, so the read here is to the left side. So if you just take a look at the left, you're going to see Ron J only sends 2 people, so he coverages out. Clef might have been anticipating some form of pressure. But the biggest deal here is that he clouds over here, I believe. And so, actually, no, he didn't cloud. He's just going to user this tight end corner. This throw is the throw, and then you cut it up and get you on a 4th and short, which is a pretty easy convert in this game. But, Clef kind of reads here. Ronja does a good job switching at the right time to be able to throw this down, but kind of the same thing as the crosser. Clef has a touchdown, but he's kind of throwing things on timing. And so, anyway, you get this corner, but it's good defense by Ronjay to close the throwing window without giving Clef enough notice to throw the streak. So, all in all, good stuff. He did only send 2, got decent pressure. This guy's going to come open later in the play. But in general, this was good, kind of a good play on both sides. And ultimately, Clef just a step too late on that corner, and now he gets on a 4th and 12. That's the hard part about playing switch stick. Is someone that has a good switch stick, they can kind of take things away without actually having to take them away. And we saw that right there. So 4th and 12, biggest down in the game so far. Clef going to run this combination. He's going to get screamed at and he's going to get stopped. So good job by Ronjay. This is why I like double mug. This is why I think double mug could be good long term into the Madden Bowl. This is why it's a defense I think is still to watch here, because it's one of the only defenses in the game where if I send 5 out, it's really hard to block it. And you're going to see Ronjay here. He's going to send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Clef just so happens to be throwing this, and Ronjay is able to basically guard 3 routes for a split second, which is all the time he needs. He's able to guard this. He kind of guarded this, and then this is really the throw. What you can't quite, he just messed up and got pressured, and there it was. There was another stop. So the first 2 drives of this game, you see a stop on both sides, which definitely does not happen a lot in Madden right now. So, really, and really, you kind of saw right there why Dollar and Double Mug are kind of the 2 best defenses, right? You saw for different reasons why Dollar's so good. The sheds that it's able to get, the and the coverage. You saw why Double Mug's so good because of the pressure you could get if they send 5 out, and the sheds that you can get from Double Mug from just sending 2 off of either side there. Right there, Ronjay did a good job. Playmaker in that drag, just cross the line of scrimmage. But he loves this slant return combo, one of his main plays, and hits it there. Clef back the hooks up. Now, Clef probably did that on purpose, right? 3rd and 6, try to get him on a 3rd down. Now he's going to try to probably bring him up, play a little bit more aggressive. But Clef's probably just trying to get a red zone stop here. Streak, slot fade, not there. Drag, and Ronjay missed a read. So, kind of surprised Clef almost got out of there for a pick 6. But if we back the tape up here, it's a big play in the game. I don't know. This is actually a really good play by Clef and Ronjay. So, if you think about what Ronjay is reading here, his main concept is the high-low between the in and the drag, okay? The other routes are pull routes and, trying to open space. So what you're going to see here is, snap the ball. You got the wheel here to the left side, which pulls this 3rd out, right? That's what's good about that. And then the in route is going to have all this space to be able to work. So the interesting thing is Ronjay did not put this guy on a stemmed up curl. Very interesting there. But effectively, this is honestly a pretty good play on both sides. Now, if he just patient, takes his drag, cuts up, he's probably going to be in a good situation to ultimately score on the drive. But he sees that Clef switches here and is committing to the in route. Now, Clef does a really, really good job of saying, yeah, I'm able to kind of like cover this for a second, but I've got to get over here. So he switches to this 3rd and just puts all his chips in that basket. And as you see, once he does that, this guy's technically open, but at that point, Ronjay had already thrown it. And it's a really good defensive play by Clef. Kind of a poor read at the end of the day by Ronjay, but you can kind of understand, the thought process there. And ultimately, Clef gets a stop. And it's, a lot of defense being played here early on in this ballgame. All right, so we'll see what Clef's able to do in response to this. But we're going to get, standard double mug here. What's interesting is now Ronjay's showing pressure off that right side. Really interesting there. There's the crosser. Good defense. Clef almost throws it right back to him. Now, here's the thing, and this is an interesting choice here by Ronjay, but what he does is he clouds this guy. I felt like what double mug allowed Ronjay to do is, as you see, Clef is blocking his running back. When a bunch X nasty player specifically, when anyone that runs bunch has to block their running back, all of a sudden the entire defensive game opens up for you because the best routes in bunch are pretty much to the running back. You've got the spacing twitch table that's really good. You got the motion clear seam, which is really good. You got the X cross flat, which is really good. And you got the drive under in route, which is really good. Like, think about the best plays in Bunch X Nasty. 4 out of probably 7 of them feature the running back as the best route on the play. So, you're able to eliminate that. Now you see Ronjay is able to cloud flat over here and not have to worry about spacing switch. So, which is the most powerful, probably most powerful play in bunch, that or X cross. So anyway, as you see this kind of go, this cloud does a really good job of reading and reacting. It could have been a soft squat, could have been a zone drop, 10-yard flat. Like, plays this drag pretty good, right? And then you see Ronjay using here again. At this point right here, what I would have loved to see Clef do that he didn't do, which obviously a little Monday morning quarterbacking here. What Clef probably sees is he sees this guy back up. He probably sees that right there, and he already knows I'm going to throw this over here, right? Probably what happens. So I just got to get enough time. His drag kind of bumped and ran a little higher than you would want it to. But what we could easily do here is just either playmaker him up or playmaker him back outside. This is probably the right throw, but this is a read, makes a mistake, and almost throws a pick. Almost throws a pick that could have easily been a pick six as well. So, like I said, a lot of defense being played early on in the first quarter of this final of this winning it into Madden Bowl. So, going X cross again, block the running back. So then the problem is when you do that, and this is what you're seeing here. I mean, it's a cage. Bunch X Nasty, if you make Bunch X Nasty have to block their running back consistently, it is not necessarily ideal. And you will see this right here. So if you think about X Cross, you normally have this flat right here, right? But because he has to block his running back, which you'll see here, Ronjay's really doing a nice job. And this is one of the things I talk about a ton defensively. Why double mug makes a lot of sense is what double mug is able to do is you're able to have what I call a full pressure complement, meaning you can run stunts from double mug. You could run a send 5, you could run a send 4, you could run a send 6, you could run a send 3, and you could run a send 2. And there's all different types of advantages to doing that. So you have a full pressure complement there. And what you're seeing is you can show, and this is the game of, this is literally Madden at its core. Like, this is good Madden to me. This is the Madden that I love. So what you're going to see here is Ronjay is going to show, as you can see, a standard send pressure look. Like, this is the look that he's remember back to a couple drives ago, he stopped him on a 3rd and 16 because he screamed at him and Clef didn't block his running back. So now we're on a 2nd and 10. Clef is, not necessarily, neither one of these guys playing great offense. And so Clef's going to block, right? He's going to block, give himself some time. Well, the problem with blocking this running back is now you don't have a threat over here. You don't have a flat route threat. This return route's going to take a century to get all the way over here, okay? So what I would have preferred to see is this be a drag. I understand why you do the return, but I think for the concept to make more sense, you probably want to do like I think a really good variation of this would be like a drag and a super curl or even a super in route, something like this, because of how Ronjay's doing a good job of mixing his pressure together. So anyway, what you're going to see is I want you to watch this slot corner. You're going to see that he's able to, as you see, just basically defend the corner route because there's no flat route putting that guy in conflict over here. this is a very easy defensive play. Like we just use her there. That's all taken away. Now we just devote all of our attention down to this return route. It's the only route that's really throwable. Like you'd have to wait quite a bit of time for this to actually open up here. And so, it's just kind of a situation where Clef's basically bagged, has to scramble out there with Purdy. Gets a pretty positive play out of that with a scramble, but it kind of highlights the back and forth, the chess match of double mug where Ronjay is, showing pressure every play and then not sending pressure, and then showing pressure, then not sending pressure. So right there, and this is where, you kind of go, okay, this is the game. So he sent two right there. Clef does a good job now, and this is a guess, right? It's a total guess. Clef does a really good job here of going, okay, he just sent two. The temptation might be to put this guy on a route, but now what Ronjay is going to do is he's going to send four, and he's also going to send four off the tight end side. Why he does that, I will never know, but he's going to do that. I just don't know why you do that in this game, but he does right here. And so for whatever reason, maybe a coverage he wanted to get to or something. So as you see, he gets chipped, but the pressure does come in. Running back does block the pressure. And now you see here that last time, remember, Clef threw this at a flat and almost threw a pick six. This time, he's going to get back to his main read, which is wide open over here. Now, if he throws it over on time, this is wide open. I don't know if he's expecting this to beat man, if he's waiting for a switch here to throw that. I don't know. What's really interesting, if you watch Ronjay play offense, you watch Clef play offense. Ronjay, when he throws the ball, he's going to throw right on the cut, right on time. Clef, for the most part in this game, has kind of like been more patient with his throws. He's been a little bit more almost slow to throw the ball. And, there's just a little bit of a difference there. We'll see how it ultimately plays out. But anyway, so you see here, good user by Ronjay, brings this guy into position. Now, but again, this was bagged. Like there was no reason to go up here. He just needs to put all of his energy here. Obviously, easy to say that. This is all happening within 2 seconds. Even a playmaker up, this is a big play. But anywho, Clef going to throw right at a zone. But to his credit, Ronjay did blitz that zone. He clicked the right joystick in to send the zone at the quarterback rolling out of the pocket. Ultimately, threw the ball to the right guy, just threw it to him fairly late in the play, and for whatever reason. So anyway, now you're going to see back to this pressure left side. Good job sending pressure there. And now you're seeing, kind of the game. Clef blocking his running back, and Clef really spams combos. Like he gets into a play that he likes, and he will just run the crap out of it, right? When he ran 0-1-0 chill, you look back at his games, the majority of the game of the plays that he called in every game was bench pivot it was basically a speed out, a zig, a drag, a dig, and then a flat. Again, what's interesting about that is he still calls plays. He runs a lot of tight end drag. Like tight end drag is, if you watch Clef play, you get a lot of tight end drag. So anyway, he's going to this combo. Really interesting to me that he's not slot fading this guy. He's streaking him. Probably a man-to-man thing or something, but streaking him up the seam here. But I guess also a double mug, you're not going to see a lot of cover 4 hard flat. Like you're not going to see that coverage. In double mug, you're going to see cover 3 with a flat, or you're going to see cover 2 with something like that. Those are really the 2 most popular coverages. Or you'll see like a man up and a hard flat, but you're not going to see 2 inside quarters. Very rarely will you see that. So anyway, you're going to see this combination here. He's going to block. This time gets good pass pro. You're still getting the sheds, right? So Ronjay's still getting good pressure, still getting good sheds here. But effectively, you're just reading drag, crosser, return, making that little triangle over the middle of the field. So good job. Gets to that return route. That's what's been pretty much open all game for him. And he's able to get up to the 25-yard line. Clef putting a really good drive on film here. A couple mistakes early, but now he's going to go to inside zone. I will say, really interesting to watch throughout this event how good Bunch X Nasty runs were. There was a lot of good runs in this event from Bunch X Nasty, that inside zone being one of them. But double mug's pretty hard to run on as well. There's that double drags. And you see right there exactly why Clef runs this. Watch how low these get. Look at how low that route is. Like if you were to run a drag here, if you were to run like a drag from this player, he would not get that low at all. So really interesting to me, but super low drags right there. And you know, those flats do a good job pulling those zones out, and you're able to just lay it up right to that tight end drag over the middle. So high percentage play calls, honestly, kind of attacking a lot of the same area consistently. Spacing switch, double streaks. There's a nice slant route over the middle. And Clef's starting to, I mean, if you think about Clef, if you watch Clef play last year and you watch Clef play this year, where does Clef really want to throw the ball? He wants to throw the ball in this window right here. He throws that window. He almost never misses that read. And I mean, it's probably his first read every single time. Snap the ball. You see, I mean, he's automatically right here. This first read every single time. Forces you to have to defend this. And now you've got this throw right here. This is a great play by Clef. It's a great route design. It's a weakness of double mug as well. Because Ronjay is sending some pressure here, so you're going to see some pressure here, he has to D-pad switch. So he has to switch onto this guy, and then with this defender's over here. So this middle field throw is really wide open because he had man up and a hard flat. It's hard to cover in double mug. It's really difficult. If you're going to blitz, it's really difficult to cover this section of grass, specifically this section right here. And if you do cover it, let's say Ronjay did something like hook here, third, or man up here. Well, now the spacing switch table's wide open. So, this is kind of the back and forth of what makes a good combo and what makes a good kind of why things work. But you're going to see right here, watch this. So you're going to get pressure. You're going to get flat. You're going to get man up, which is probably why he put him on the street, because he can pass lead this. And then you see the D-pad switch. But the problem is, as you see here, he's in quicksand. He's not able to get there, and this is free. It's a free touchdown walk-in play. Wasn't able to actually finish the run there, but really, really nice play to end the first quarter. And a lot of things that you can kind of glean and learn from what we just saw. So that's going to bring up a second and goal on the 1 yard line. We'll see what Clef does. Based off what he calls down here, we can kind of tell for sure what playbook he's in. As you see, he does go to the QB blast and trio. So that pretty much tells me that Clef is in banker dimes, and he gets a really nice run there from the trio. I will say, this is another thing, man. Double mug's really good red zone defense. It really is. And you're going to see Ronjay, if he's normally you would hover down here for like trip side end runs, but because you're in trio, what he's trying to do is he's trying to shoot through and stop it with this guy. So you see right here, watch his user. Actually, kind of jumped on this guy for some reason, but I mean, this was just wasn't able to stop the run at the end of the day. That's the number one thing in Benkert. You have to be able to stop in the red zone. If someone's running Benkert dimes, you have to be able to stop that run. And wasn't able to get it done, wasn't able to stop it. So all of this game has been played. A lot of defense really on both sides. A lot of things to learn about, what passes work, why, how to use specific routes. You're seeing Clef just highlight, why tight end drags are so powerful. But at the same time, it's still just a 7-0 ball game. Now, that was a big 7 for Clef, and the reason being is because Ronjay was able to get ball get ball first, which means Clef gets ball at half. So you saw right there, and this is, good quality defense there by Clef. Kind of a broken play, get out of the pocket, trying to make something happen. Surprised how he comes out of mesh spot every play too. I don't know why he does that. I would not think mesh spot is like that powerful. I mean, it's good, but it's not. And right here, this is kind of what we were talking about. So watch how Clef starts to adjust his switch stick. So what you're going to see here is you're going to get the loop pressure. You're going to get your standard coverage. So just to highlight it, you've got a flat, you've got a third or a quarter, a third, and then what appears to me like a deep half and a hook curl of some form and a cloud. That's what it kind of looks like, okay? So remember what I said. Ronjay throws things on timing, so Clef is anticipating that this is a curl, it's not a streak. So what he does is he switches and he drives right on the route. He leaves this completely. Ronjay again throws off timing, and so you see perfect timing there, almost an interception. What's crazy to me is he actually caught the ball. He actually caught the ball. They're ruling that a catch, and there you go. So, really good defensive play by Clef that was not rewarded. Shout out to Next Gen Madden, and shout out to where the state of defense in the last over the last 4 or 5 years. So there you go, a little playmaker late. So again, this is one little thing you can do to counter it. This is why you should be having QB playmaker on your quarterback, because as you see the streak clear space, Clef's putting everything low, 5-yard hooks, everything's down low. And so, yeah, it's good for stopping return routes and things like that, but you're just going to get this playmaker up, and now you're in conflict. Do you pick the post? And what's interesting is Clef kind of gets stuck as well, but he switches to the post here. Good job by Ronjay hitting the deep playmaker drag. And gets a field, and now we have a red zone. That's what's nice about Dollar, though, is the style of defense you play in Dollar, and you could play this style in double mode as well, is you keep the lid on. And so because you keep the lid on, you're going to force them to have to score in this red area, which is the hardest place to score in the game. Very difficult to score down here. And he's going to scramble up. So, like, a lot of things negative could happen. You see Clef's facial reaction at the top. Like, that scramble, like, yes, it was a good scramble, but a lot of negative things can happen there. You could fumble. You could fumble, your quarterback take a big hit, all that. So, Tripp's tight end here. He is in Jags. Tripp's tight end, so he does have QB power. But we'll see what he ends up going to. This is kind of a crazy dot, I thought. Look at this play. It's a smoke screen and a slot fade. And if you play cover two here, this will be wide open. And you have a seam streak, and then whatever you do backside here. So I don't know why we're blocking our tight end. But anyway, so as you see, this is like a really nice dot. Like Clef goes cover two. This could be a curl. But this a really nice pot. And he just throws it. He does a good job there, too, of kind of free-forming it outside, but that free-form is what caused that incompletion. The purpose of the free-form there is to get it away from that flat defender, but that is kind of a cool little dot. And, a little barber dot down there in the red zone from Ronjay. He loves to go down to this strong, close, fullback slam, fullback dive with Perry. And catches Clef in the defense. Clef there burns a timeout. Really smart, right? Like, Clef is in a position in this game where if he could get a stop down here, it'd be big. So Clef decides to go to 60 out jacks, which Ronjay now goes, okay, I'm going to go back to my base personnel, audible into 5 wide, spread this out, slot fade, and Clef gets a really lucky swat. Ronjay got a swat earlier. Clef gets a swat right there. The one thing that is interesting, though, I did want to highlight this real quick. It's a little bit of a thing. So if you look here, the reason that Ronjay is able to audible into all these formations is because he changed his personnel back. So when he came out and audibled into strong close, when Clef actually called the timeout, I want to just highlight this real quick for us. He changed his personnel. So what he did is he put Perry. Let's see if it shows him actually doing it. Doesn't matter. We can just show it here. But basically, he put a tight end over here. He put a fullback here. So he changed his personnel so he could audible into strong close. When you are playing Madden, if you wait to pick your defensive play, you can see the personnel that come out, and it'll say like 2 running back, 1 tight end, 2 receivers. Or it'll say 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers, right? Normally. Well, for this, it didn't do that. And so, or for this, Clef, for whatever reason, still decided to run 60 out jacks, which it ended up working out for him. But we could just say, If we watch the personnel a little better, we could come out in 60 out jacks on that first rep, not have to burn the timeout. And then on the second rep here, where he comes back out in 3 wide receiver, then we could just come back out in our base defense. So it's kind of a little thing, but honestly, a big thing in the big picture because, again, you just, a good best practice of defense. You always want to be waiting for the offense to call play, then you calling a play defensively, just maximizes, one of the benefits that you could do. So as you see here, now he goes to double mug. And great job by Ron J. Ron J actually runs Clef's old combination against him. Flat, whip route. And then on the backside here, I don't know what we ran. But that works out. Man covers doesn't man cover. And Deion Sanders able to get into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game for Ron J. Been a fun one. Been a really fun game to break down because a lot of different things, a lot of different pieces that are happening here. Now, 3 minutes and 50 seconds, right? Clef is still in a really, really good position. What he can do here is he can take this clock and he could make this a even, 10-7, 14-7 going in half. But he's going to get out of there on the kick return. This was something I saw all tournament, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I am never kicking the ball deep for probably the rest of the year. The ball's going out the back of the end zone every time. Until speed boosting is patched, I am done kicking that off. You watched return after return. A guy won a game off a return in this event. I am not about that life. I'm just not about that life. I'm not gonna sit there and give you a free free 50 yards to try to maybe save 5 to 10 yards on a kickoff. I think that's crazy. Now, granted, Wesley, I think, did get a fumble in one of his games. So, I guess, but here we go. We got some shame on John. I hated, I said this before. I said this last event, the broadcast booth. This is a big game of Madden, and we're talking about John Beast's sweater. Not a big fan of that one. Not a big fan of that one. At the end of the day, we can make those jokes in the earlier, in the quarterfinal matchups. We get in the Super Bowl or the title, the championship, the belt, whatever. Let's make it all about the game. I don't know why we're doing stuff like that. I just think it's really, just think it's inappropriate. I think that's probably the best word. All right. First and goal. Clef kind of got down there too fast. As you see here, the kickoff return, Clef now has to kind of score quickly. So he gets down there too quickly. At the end of the day, it's because of the kick return. So now you're in an interesting spot, 2 minutes, and then Ron J's I don't really care. This is what's cool. This is what's cool about double mug. And this is watch what Clef does, or watch this play right here. This is super powerful. Take a look at this. You get a little Texas 4-man. You get a little Texas 4-man stunt sack. Look at that. Now, why does that matter? I talked about it in the beginning about why I think double mug might be a step. They're a little honestly, they're just stylistically different. But one of the beauties of this defense is the way you block the main blitz. So the main blitz is this guy right here, okay? The way you block the main blitz is you untarget this defender over here. You have to be on base protection to do that, and base protection is not good against stunts. And so what you see is he mixes in a little Texas 4-man, D-pad switches, and gets a sack on a big down, 3rd and goal from the 14. That's why you gotta double mug, man. There's probably 5 to 7 different types of ways to send pressure within the formation. There you see a KO. Now you get him on a 4th down. He has to settle for 3. And this is where Ron J can take control of the game. He's got 2 minutes and 16 seconds. If he's able to go in a half winning 14-10, then you put yourself kind of back in a really good position in this game. So the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds are super critical for Ron J. If Ron J does not get the job done in this 2-minute situation, it puts him in a big disadvantage going into half because Clef gets the ball. If Clef didn't get the ball, this would be, kind of playing with house money. But because he does, and you see here, Ronjay forgot to change his package. Again, mental mistake. And just something that, at this stage, you're thinking about so many things. Sometimes these little details can slip from you, as you see there. So he's going to go in and fix his players up so that he can audible, and that's going to be up to the 2-minute warning. If you're Clef here, honestly, success is kind of stopping Ronjay, of course, or holding him to 3. But more than likely, you know, Ronjay should be in a position where he can clock this pretty well, pretty easily. And slot fade's a touchdown. I thought he ran out of bounds right there. Wow. Didn't love that play call. This, I will say, some of Ronjay's play calls are a little odd. They're just kind of eh. But that's a really nice one. So right here, one of the things Ronjay notices is that Clef is kind of split fielding. So this safety, as you see, he's not there. He might have even been in a quarter. This guy goes out. It's a nice little pop up the seam. Real nice throw from Ronjay right here. And just a very, very nice spot on that ball. So that's going to put him in field goal range early, 1st and 10 from the 30, I want to say 39, 36. And now, 36. Little high-low combination here on the left. And he throws a pick. So that's what I was talking about Ronjay. Some of the things with Ronjay, man, like his reads are really good until they're not. And this is an example. So Clef runs cover 2 hard flat. Why run cover 2 hard flat or cover on this right side? Honestly, not 100% sure. Not 100% sure why he ran this defense. I think what Clef might be trying to do is play super aggressive so that if Ronjay scores, Clef can get the ball back with an opportunity to answer. I don't know. But this is a really, really, it's a really awkward play call. Like, look at this play call. I mean, yes, it will work. It will work because you're going to get a high-low between a running back post and a return, but these are just things you don't see. You don't see this concept right here. Like, when have we seen that? But anyway, Clef does a really good job. He recognizes the slot fade. He insta switches. He drives right on the ball. The way Ronjay plays, he likes to throw things off cut. So he throws that right off cut. He looks wide open, but Clef insta switches him. If he waits here, you're going to have something late. But switch stick, pick, CTG. And that's why I like watching Clef play. If you're looking to get better at switch stick, this dude is probably the best right now. I'm trying to think of who else could be better. Fancy was better last year. Not sure where Fancy's at this year. Hasn't really hasn't been able to get it done this year. Lost to Drini in an event, and when I watched that game, it was really more Fancy's offense than his defense. I want to say his defense was okay, but his offense was just he threw some bad interceptions in that game to Drini. I'm trying to remember, but I would say Clef. If you're thinking about like who has the best switch stick in Madden, you probably have Wesley, Fancy, and Clef up there, at least at kind of that top tier. I'm trying to think of other guys off the top of my head. I mean, John Beast, of course. John Beast very effective with the switch. Those are kind of the top players. So anyway, 2nd and 10, 47-yard line, 39 seconds left. And we're going to get kind of corner route return. Playmaker. Right there, I think Clef was trying to playmaker and back up. Wasn't able to get it done, but still able to throw it up to a seam. You got 33 seconds, 24. So if you're Clef here, you're in an interesting position because you've got your stop. You're kind of playing with house money, but at the same time, there's a best practice here. And the routes that he's calling, like he's calling middle of the field attacking routes. He's putting return routes on the field, which maybe for playmaker purposes, but whatever. 18 seconds. Like to me, I think you just, I know it's a little more conservative, but I don't know what really hurts you if you take three. And the reason that I would take three here, I mean, if he gives you a touchdown, take it. Like right here. So you see there, he calls timeout 10 seconds. You got kind of a couple options. You can take a couple end zone shots. You can throw. The other thing about this nice is where he's at on the field. You can just throw the ball away, and it'll just throw the ball to the back of the end zone. You're not at risk for an intentional or anything like that. But what he ends up doing, throw it away 7 seconds. Now you're kind of getting down in this danger zone. I just think take three because you get ball at a half, you could potentially go up by 2 touchdowns, which is a big advantage. He throws that. It's a massive interception. Fortunately for Clef, Khalil Mack can't move. But this is I mean, yeah, he's open. So if you look here, like you do get the look you want. And Clef's trying to be a little careful because if he throws it too early, he might not get the animation. But what he wants is he wants to throw it, catch possession into the end zone. 6 seconds. To me, I mean, he's at the end of the day, he just throws it late. Like watch the play in real time. He's open, throw now. Nope, just a step too late. And honestly, really good job by Ron J able to get there. At the end of the day, that's a big interception, and that is how he kind of left Ron J in the game when the game was kind of over there. So if he scores a touchdown. All right, so as I said, Clef gets the ball to start the second half. We're going to see, I mean, really a defensive game so far. We'll see if it shifts here down the stretch. Going to get a nice return with Forte out to about the 32-yard line. All right, so first play of the second half, we're going to see Clef go to the double streak, double drag with the wheel combination here. And again, just want to highlight this. Like Ron J can do a really good job here sending pressure. But basically what I would think Clef is doing is if these linebackers drop out, he's going to get over here to his concept. But if these linebackers blitz straight down as they do, Clef's first read is right here. There's just a little pop pass to the tight end. Does such a good job of hitting this, and it really just helps his offense just stay on schedule. As you see, look at this absolute void. Look at all that space that he can throw that tight end pop pass into. And this is a pretty standard coverage, right? It's hook, flat. Looks like maybe a man up in a flat there, cover two variation. But anyway, pretty standard coverage. But, I mean, you just see wide open middle of the field. Ron J has to respect the wheel or spacing switch flat. And so, boom, just a little pop pass. And you're, easy first down to start the second half. Clef throws chew clock on right there. Not sure why. Goes to the same play. Didn't work that time. Want to highlight here real quick. So if you take a look at this, so you see Rajay showing the same pressure, except this time we're going to show pressure this way. Now, why does he do that? Again, I'm not 100% sure because this pressure is nowhere near as good as this one. But what it allows is for you to get a little bit more better coverage because you can now do kind of like a little cover two in that way. So anyway, so see here, this guy blitzes. Really interesting. This guy drops out into coverage, and he ends up sending, I think, 4. So, yeah. So he actually sends 3 with the linebacker. Now, why blitz the linebacker, you might ask? The reason he blitzes the linebacker, this would be, I mean, I'm assuming, but this is the reason that I would do it. So he's going to blitz his linebacker here. And the reason for that is if Clef blocks this running back, a lot of times, as you see right there, see how that gap opened up? A lot of times this guy is going to get like a block on the running back, and then there could be an insta shed. So it's a great way to send 3 out of double mug. Again, just so many pressure variations in this defense that Clef has to worry about. But good defense by Ron J kind of gets that coverage out there and able to get a stop there on the 1st and 10 there. So 2nd and 10 situation for Clef. Now, why the chew clock? If I was guessing, because he's up 3, what Clef is probably planning here is to get 7, of course. I don't know for sure, but I would just guess the reason why to chew clock is because he's in the lead of the game. He wants Ron J to get the ball with about a minute left in the third or 5 minutes left in the fourth. So real quick here, just highlight the play call. So this is what I was talking about. He runs a similar play that he ran earlier, but this time Clef is going to run it from X cross. And what he's going to do is instead of the corner route, as you see, instead of the corner route on this guy, he's going to have the corner route here. So you get slot fade, streak, corner, return, running back cross. So typically you read this, you're going to peek out at this stuff here, but really the route that you're looking to hit is right here. If they take that away, you ideally want to get to here, and then you have this return kind of late. So he's looking out there. This is a really good job switching here to there. And then, this throw is open, but it's a good switch there to be able to take that lane away. Now you just got to scramble up. Or as you see late in the play, that corner's kind of coming open, but again, another good switch. So good switches by Ron J, and hard to hit those windows. That's the thing with switch dig is that it closes throwing windows and it makes you have to throw the ball. It's just a great way to help defenders react to the ball, man. That's what it kind of comes down to. Kind of a gross play right here from Clef. So let's just go through this. He goes through the same play, I believe, twice. Yep. So exact same setup as you can see. And then the other thing here that's important is he kind of guesses wrong. So he's sending 5 out. He's not thinking Ron J is going to send this guy. Okay. And so if he does send this guy, there's not a lot on this play super quick. Like the return route's going to take a minute. The cross route could be open quick. And then the other thing is the seam. Okay. So what Clef sees here is he sees this blitz. See right here, blitz, 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 right? And so I don't know if he thinks it's zone, but it's definitely man. Maybe he just thinks he has a step. But he's going to try to kind of fire the ball in right in this little pocket, possession catch to get a first down. But for whatever reason, as you see, he kind of freeforms it. The man coverage does a good job, and you just can't get that ball bent like he wants to, and can't get the animation that he was looking to get. But tried to basically freeform the streak against man coverage, which was a good read, but it's one of the more difficult throws to be able to make, and just kind of highlights that even though it is a really good way to beat man, it's sometimes hard to make that read. All right, so here Clef does a really good job hitting the crosser. And, when the chips are down, he goes back to his number one play. This has been his number one play all game. He gets to it a little differently here. I don't know for sure why, but earlier on in the game, Ron J had manned up this receiver and it bagged the crosser. So Clef just switches the routes to make it so that you have to man this guy up. And what you're going to see here is Ron J, ironically, guesses right. This guy is manned up, but gets a favorable man coverage beating animation and able to get a first down. So kind of a play that could have gone both ways. Good play by Ron J, good play by Clef. Ultimately, the guy just ends up beating the man coverage. Tough drive so far for Clef. Nothing's been super that easy. There's a run shoot. That's another reason if you watch, we'll do a breakdown on the channel as well of this. But if you watch the Clef and Decroft game, Clef was dominating with inside zone, and it kind of highlighted, double mug, just a little better run defense. So anyway, gets to a combo late there, but nothing super doing there. 3rd and 12. And we'll see what he ends up deciding to go to here. Now, he likes this play. I don't, but I get why you run it. It's essentially the tight end is going to act as like a flat, and then the text is going to be kind of a slant that can be thrown kind of in this little window here. But this is a really difficult read to make, in my opinion. So you see flat. Watch how this kind of plays out. Like all this muddy water here, but it is going to do a good job because the crosser, Ron J's been used to him running that crosser. Now you're going to get that Texas going in the back end of that. But good job by Clef. No flat from Ron J. He's able to just take the drag upfield. And that's why, you kind of see the importance of having routes that really strain a defense horizontally as well as vertically. And then you're able to kind of pepper in the intermediate area of the field. But you do have to have plays and routes that attack the entirety of the field. So there's a little running back in route. Nice route. 2nd and 7. And kind of a critical point here. So as you see, this is why the chew clock. So you see there, third minute 50. Clef's idea here is if he goes up 7, he's up 2 possessions. It's going to be real difficult for Ron J to come back. So he's trying to drain the clock a little bit in a way. The other thing is, if Clef gets 3, you're going to see this situation kind of unfold. He's going to be able to, like right now, you just want to try to score. Nothing doing there, and very fortunate. So you'll see here that Clef is trying to throw this slant. This is actually pretty open. It's a tight throw, but this dude, you have to remember when you're watching this right here. Look who that guy actually is. So that guy that just dropped there. Actually, no, it is a linebacker. So I mean, he'll play, but you see there's this little void, and basically you can kind of pop it right in that little alley right there. Okay. But Clef steps up almost too much here on a 2-man rush. And so when he goes to throw this, he actually hits his tackle. His arm hits his tackle and he gets hit, and it forces a inaccurate, as you see. He's also throwing it in a spot. Like, again, you would want to kind of like pepper that up in that area. But it's a tough throw. It's a tight read. And honestly, fortunately, you see it just bound. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Madden 26. Like, no eyes, no pick. I don't know. I mean, I guess his eyes were on it, but, doesn't make the play at the end of the day. And what's cool is that's Tremaine Edmonds. I think that's like a 2 million coin card at this time. Can't catch it. Can't catch the interception. So there you go. Clef 13-7. Now, this is even more why that end of half mistake by Clef really hurt him. Because now Ronje could go take the lead. Whereas if we were, if this was 16-7, Clef would still have a 1 possession advantage. And now, as you go down the backstretch of any Madden game, this clock becomes extremely, extremely important. So Ronje has to basically score like as fast as he possibly can in this situation. He has to get down the field and score quickly. So you're going to see Clef pass committing every play. These sheds will go crazy. And it's just a little bit of nice situational awareness. As you see, there's crazy sheds, throw it away. I cannot stress enough how significant it is that Ron J does not have any help on these tackles. He doesn't have pass pro on him. These dudes are lighting up, shedding him almost instantly the majority of the game. Ron J is making good reads, making plays out there, but every single play, man, every single play, the pressure is there, and he's only Clef's only having to send 3 or 4, whereas Ron J's having to send 5 or 6 to get, quality pressure. So anyway, as you see here, another rollout, try to get out of there with Caleb, but not going to get that much. That's the real beauty of having these super fast defensive linemen. Again, wish this stuff was not a part of the broadcast on the final. I'm cool with it if it's, the quarterfinal or whatever, but I'd love to just zero in on the game. Anyway, 1st and 10 from the 48, nice little dot there out of X cross, but ultimately too, Ronje runs a lot of, let's see here, good streak, slot fade, drag, running back table. You see Clef's reaction there. So this is a hard flat, by the way. Almost positive, 100% a hard flat. And notice Clef's coverage is very basic. It's just a roll coverage, real simple. But not able to get a catch on the pick. And we've seen how forgiving these tight end drags have been, man. They've been very, very forgiving. Kind of an odd combination here for that situation. He's going to get shedded and sacked. So this to me is an actual pretty, again, like this, and again, just where we're at in the game, right? You have to score quickly because Clef's going to get balls. So you get spacing switch flat, this, and I don't even know what we did on the back end of this, just a streak and a speed out. I mean, it's cool, but I think he actually corner routes or slot fades him. There's just not, I mean, this is just hard to hit. And when you're getting super shedded, like it's just, there's nothing really there for him. So to me, that was a fairly play call. And that's going to, because even if he completes it, like that's the end of the third quarter. You didn't really gain that much. 3rd and 12 here from the 50. And he's just going to take it into the fourth. Why he takes it into the fourth, like fine, but doesn't, I mean, obviously maybe just trying to manage the emotion. Don't know. Doesn't really help him in a situation. Again, the clock is on Clef's side. 100% on Clef's side because Ronjay can't really clock this out to finish the game. So all Clef's going to need is a field goal if he gets ball back. So, a drag deep in, one of the combos of the tournament. Nice throw. And you see Clef gets him on a fourth, 4:53 left in the game. And Ronjay dialing up some crazy glitchy streak there. Good defense by Clef, and there it is, done. So he sends 3, and you just see, the shed. He was able to pass commit. There's just nothing really available. These can't, I don't know why. I just think that has to be a curl, and maybe this one too. I just think situationally, kind of another just play call. Like it just didn't give you anything really. He is going to have that guy, but pressure. The Clef's able to get the stop. So now we'll see what Ronjay's able to do. Ronjay's not necessarily, all is not lost. If Ronjay stops him, now the crazy part is Clef is like 5 yards from field goal range. Like he's not, he's basically in field goal range. Goes to that play he's been calling all day. This is the play he's been calling all day, right? And sometimes he puts him on a table, sometimes he blocks him. Here he blocks him because he knows Ronjay's going to blitz. Ronjay blitzes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Ronjay does a really good job of getting low enough to actually guard the drag. It's actually a really good user by Ronjay. He drives really hard on that. He knows this is what Clef's going to run. If Clef just like takes a breath, you're going to see this is going to be wide open. But I just think trying to just pepper, and this is the open route, but he got bumped and, didn't able to get it done. So now you go on a 2nd and 10. This is the thing about this stage. This is the thing about these play calls. These are very, very, very important play calls. You're going to see Clef go to mesh spot with that stemmed up curl. And again, just kind of a little, like to me, you have to realize what I would assume Clef is trying to do is he's just trying to get a field goal. I really think in Clef's mind, like if I get a field goal, I win this game. So realistically, and I don't know for sure the exact number, but he needs to get about right here. Right about here, okay? He does not have to get a first down to get a field goal, okay? So the fact that he didn't run the ball to me is kind of odd. Like this would be a good run look. It's kind of odd, but whatever. So like right here, if I saw this, I check to a run because the gap shoot from double mug is this guy over here and this guy over the center. So if I see this, man, I'm running the ball. But he doesn't. Okay. So the combination here, or let's just kind of watch this play unfold. So as you see right here, he only sends 3. This also shows the, kind of discomfort of double mug because you think it's pressure, you think it's not. Clef knows he sends 5 out. If he gets blitzed, he's going to get screamed at. So anyway, you get a nice shed here on the DN, which doesn't happen a lot. And what Clef is probably thinking is, yes, I could throw this and probably get a first down, but I don't want to necessarily mess with like a potential switch stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scramble right up and get to that first down marker. But he's got Brock Purdy, not the best. And, he's close, but still, would have loved to get a couple more yards out of that scramble. Now he's in a 3rd and 6. Again, I really think Clef's mentality is I just would think I'm going to get 3, but these are not necessarily easy kicks. So he goes to this play. Ironically, this play happens to be the play that Wesley lost the game on against Ronjay in a situation kind of like this. So he's going to run this. We've seen this a lot. First read on the play is always this, like pretty much like you'll take a look at this, but really you're pretty much trying to get to this route right here. Okay. So as you see, You could probably throw that, but whatever. You know, he's gonna wait patiently backside and let this guy drag all the way across. So drags all the way across, gets it in a nice window. Not able to cut it up. 46-yard line, 4th and 1, decision time. Do you kick it? Do you not? To me, I kick this. I would think like this is a pretty straightforward make. Clef's gonna come out and look like he's gonna go for it. But we've seen a lot of people make these kicks from this distance. Obviously, you see here Ron J prepared run defense. You know there's pressure going to come. Actually, I guess not. Goes coverage and a playmaker, and that's it. It's a nice dot. This is why this play is so hard to defend, and you see Clef run it in key situations. These are the money plays of bunch for a reason. The reason this is so good is because even if you defend everything perfectly, because they were return routing this guy, you can playmaker him this way. You can playmaker him this way. You can playmaker him back across. The playmaker ability is a must-have on every single quarterback in this game. So as you see here, good defense at the bagged. Can't really throw that. Can't really scramble right because this guy will shed. You know, so really, you know, and this is what I love. Like, this is the right read because it's kind of the only read, right? So all Clef's attention. I'm going to playmaker him. Can put him in all kinds of space here. Wouldn't probably playmaker him that way, but the playmaker straight up. And that is a $45,000 dot from Clef the God. Put them in a great spot here. I would think we're running the ball 3 times and kicking a field goal. And basically putting Ron J in a tough spot with no timeouts. So 10 seconds. I would think we're running the ball. Yep. You see, I mean, it's hard to, like, this is a free gap shoot, though. Like, you know, that's the thing. He decides to take a timeout there, Clef does. Probably because he knows, right? Ron J is going to be able to shoot that run. So he's going to go to something a little different here. So he's going to set up his trio. This is a run that I actually think is really good against double mug. Watch the audible. He's going to go to wide zone, I would think. No. Staying inside zone. Okay, we're going to stay in inside zone. What? That was crazy. Okay, let's take a look at what happens here. He comes out in the RPO, doesn't he? Let's see. Let's see what he actually comes out in. Let me actually back up the tape. Let's see. I know that's an auto motion. I'll explain why. So, okay, so as you see, this guy's backed off. That's how you know it's an auto motion. And you can RPO this guy, which is good. It's good against double mug, good against what you're seeing here. But really what this is he's going to get this like reset here. And for whatever reason, he's going to block perfectly. Don't know why that I don't know if that's a glitch or what, but it allows him to ID this guy and actually be able to block him. Normally that's the freest gap shoot ever against inside zone. That was high level. I don't know if that's consistent, but that was something, man. That was interesting that worked so well. Now you're second to go from the 3. And again, for Clef, like, you really just want to take Ron J's timeouts. Ron J doesn't look like he's going to call them. He's just going to let this clock go. And Clef going to jump into eye close. Now, if you get a walk-in touchdown, do you take it? I would probably still just try to get this under 2-minute warning. But he's going to take it. He goes to a pitch. I mean, talk about a run that did not look like it was going to work, but it worked, right? So there you go. 2 touchdown lead from Clef. We're winning now by 13. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. But Ron J, 3 timeouts and 2-minute warning. So going to be tough, though, just kind of because of how this game has gone. It's been very difficult for Ron J offensively, primarily just because of these crazy sheds. You know, Clef switch has helped him. Clef switch has got him a stop in key situations. But it's really come down to the fact that he can't protect. He can't block. And he has to. I mean, you're going to get pass committed every play. This is really hard because when you're pass committing, these sheds just go crazy. You see there's a loop, there's pressure. Look how fast that pressure's on you. Like, just good quality defense from Clef. And Clef's not doing anything crazy with the coverage. These adjustments are pretty straightforward. We're just going to roll one way, roll the other way. We're not going to do a whole lot. We're going to play a lot of zone, keep you in front of us. We're going to rally and tackle, as you see right here, keep you in balance. Now we're at the 2-minute warning, and he's not going to be able to get that off. So now we're 1st and 10, 2 minutes left. And Ronjay has to kind of push the ball down the field and pick to the crib. Mike Evans. Oh, nope, he's going to get stopped. That's actually bad. I mean, it's good, but it's bad. It's not necessarily bad, but it's like, okay, now you can't really get a first down and actually clock the game out and finish it off. But, I mean, it's basically over here. You see 3 runs. There's a toss. A little replay. Shot out Mike Evans. Here's that wide zone from Trio. Take a look at this. This is why I was highlighting that. This is what I think he was going to audible to on that critical down. It's a trio. It's got wide zone, which is really good against double mug. You're going to get a seal on these interior linemen. And so as you see, the only guy is this guy, but he can't really play it. And so, you know, this is a really well, like if you're looking for a good run against double mug, any kind of outside zone or wide zone, they normally do a pretty decent job, especially from shotgun bunch or trio. So just kind of a quick word of advice on that. He's going to go to it again. He saw something he liked. 3rd and goal. Wide zone. Good block. Touchdown. And he can't get the job done with the run, though. The run stick is just not getting it done. But 4th and goal, honestly, I don't hate going for it, but now you basically cannot lose the game, you know. It's almost impossible to lose the game because 23-7, you're up by 16. I don't know why Ronjay's going off sides. But we'll see. Are we going to kick the field goal? We are. He's going to make the field goal. And now we got a minute left. A lot to learn from this one, boys. A lot to learn from this one. And if Clef takes that 3 before half, I would say the second half's not as stressful for him. It's a little cleaner of a win. But, still 23-7 against one of the better young players in the game right now. And the problem is in this game, the thing about this game is like defense is not good. But if you get down like this in obvious passing situations, it's really hard to come back. Like really, really hard. Because the pass commit is so good, you can kind of keep them in bounds. The curl flats play a little better this year. It's hard to throw sideline. So it's really hard in this situation to really be able to do a whole lot. Clef's not going to do anything crazy. You're going to see cover 4 curl flat. Right, cover 4 curl flat, loop a guy, make you throw it in the middle of the field. And you're also getting pass committed every play, looping this guy. Really interesting that Clef's doing the walkover loop. He's not doing the other one. There you see. This is just, it's just extremely difficult in this situation to get the ball downfield. It's one of the best things about the game, I would say, is that when you want to take away the sidelines, when you want to take away stuff, when it's obvious passing situation, it's pretty difficult. You can do stuff like that where you can scramble and not fumble. You can sometimes catch balls you shouldn't. You drop picks, but it's going to be very difficult to actually get this ball downfield. And you see, these are all really good combos, but they're just not able ultimately to do a whole lot. And you see this clock just drain. And unfortunate for Ronjay, right? Ronjay, really, really good player. Right on the edge of having that breakthrough moment. And just happens to go up against what I would say has been one of the best players all year that just hasn't gotten it done in a couple winning get-ins, I believe. And the other thing with that is, Clef did win the Thanksgiving deal in Madrid tournament, but that didn't really do a whole lot for MCS standings for whatever reason. So LCQ champion, Clef the God. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. And if you're looking to get better at Madden, I'd encourage you, join our school community today. $10, get you everything that you need to know about Madden and college football.